Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here. And if you're new, my name is John. Like always guys, before we start today's story, be sure to hit the subscribe so you don't miss out in future episodes. Without further delay, let's get to it. The first taste of alcohol I had was when I was about 13, 14. I was heading to a teenage disco with my friend Patty, and we went to his uncle's house before we went to the disco. He was a big drinker at the time, and he had that smell about him, he had that whiskey cigarette smell. And we went in the living room and he handed us these short little green bottles of beer, better known as Stumpies at the time. I remember the coolness of the glass bottle in my hand like it was yesterday. And when I drank it, the unfamiliar burn as the liquid hit my throat. I just remember feeling excited, and I suppose you could say rebellious, and really just chasing the wee buzz effect. At that time, in the 90s, the mid-90s, drinking was quite casual, especially in my small town, even throughout Ireland. And no blackouts at this stage, no cigarettes, just chasing the slight euphoria. Moving forward, at 18, I was legally allowed in bars, where I found my new love, alcohol, cigarettes, and music, which I already loved anyway. At the time, I wasn't drinking to excess, just drinking for the thrill, just like every other guy and girl around my age at that time. But I remember one night, I took a shot of vodka at the bar. I think it was Aftershocks at the time. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was, because I remember the blue colour and the bottle label was on it. So I do recall, and it was hard liquor, and it hit me like lightning. I only had about 2 pints of beer at this point. And suddenly I felt weightless, fearless, and confident. All my doubts and all my insecurities were gone. They had vanished instantly. That was the moment I realized that alcohol wasn't just a drink. It was a shortcut to escape. At the time, life was vibrant, full of mates from the neighbourhood, weekend partying, backyard parties, all under the pulse of trance music, which I loved and still love. But then came my first real heartbreak. It was my first love. We had broke up, and that really sent me into deeper drinking. What was once a weekly indulgence, once a week, became twice a week and more at times. Cigarettes entered the picture, something that I was always against. The scent of stale cigarettes and alcohol started to cling to my clothes. And I remember I just brought a lot of pain in my household, because a lot of times I wasn't sober. I was drinking a lot at that time. And I remember my sisters were crying and they were yelling at me, but I was too off my head that I was probably giving them abuse. And same to my parents, I had no respect at all, and it's not my character, because in sobriety I would characterize myself as somebody that's quite laid back, chill, and non-confrontational. And so the drink definitely brought out the darker side of me, for sure. They were just sick of it, I would come home at 3 a.m. in the morning, maybe later at times, and just disturb everybody that was sleeping already. My sisters, 2 sisters at the time, and 2 elder sisters, and my brother, 2 years younger than me, and then my youngest brother is about 6 years younger, and then my parents, right? So it must have been quite tough for those guys at the time, quite scary, because at the weekend, what time is John Lee gonna come back, and what state's he gonna be in, so stuff of that nature. Basically, my parents were helpless, as my temper was sharp when I was on alcohol. Then another blow happened. My family, parents divorced, drifted off, broke up. If heartbreak fueled the fire, this was gasoline. I was drinking to get over my girlfriend, and now I'm drinking to drown out the pain, to silence out the emptiness of my parents breaking up. This was the time blackouts became a routine. hangovers, unexpected consequence. I was about 21 and lost in the haze of beats, booze, and cigarettes. At 21, I met an Austrian girl at the club, and actually, I remember vaguely seeing the girl in the club, and she gave me like her number or something, and I called her like the next day or something, and then basically we met up, got to know each other, and I was still drinking the way I was drinking in Ireland. She didn't say anything about it at the time, maybe because she was in Ireland and she was an foreign exchange student, and she was going home shortly, so she probably just thought it was, I mean, she was maybe 2 or 3 years older than me at the time, so she didn't probably think too much of it. So yeah, we stayed together during her time in Ireland for maybe, I think it was like 2 months or something, and yeah, we went to Austria, and it was fun, but I still took the same character with me, my drinking, and my addiction followed me, right? At first, it was just occasional, but then the cravings of the three things that I liked most, alcohol, cigarettes, and beats, it just crept back stronger until the relationship ended. And I remember leaving her at the train station. The train station was going to take me to the airport, and I remember our departure. And the moment I got on that train, sat down on a chair, and I just cried uncontrollably. There was two women opposite me. They're probably like middle age. Well, they were like mid-30s, I would say, and they looked at me, and I just didn't care. I just let out my tears. I didn't give a damn. And the first time in my life, sobriety, crying. I never cried in my life. Well, I'm sure I did when I was younger, but it was just coming down heavy, man. And I didn't care who was looking. I could have been anywhere at the time, because I knew that I was going back home, and it was just gonna be the same for me. The drinking, the smoking, and living for the weekends. And I knew already the heartache that caused for a lot of people around me. So I was deeply, deeply hurt by that. That girl at the time wasn't the love of my life or anything. It just happened to be an experience at the time, and that was that. So yeah, I knew that the same cycle was going to be the same when I go back home. So moving forward, by 23, I was talking to a woman online from the US for over a year. She was a older woman, about 7 years older than me, and I thought she was, obviously I was attracted to her, right? And yeah, it was an exciting time. So, you know, she didn't know how much I was drinking. So anyway, I flew over to Michigan a year after speaking to her for a year, and everything just felt like a dream because, you know, you watch the movies, the American movies, right? And now you're going there, and it was during the summertime. So got off the airport, met her outside, and yeah, just instantly attracted. It was the same woman that I'd seen online, and yeah, it was exciting. So I'm just gonna fast forward. Um, we eventually got married and had a kid, and just like that, my life changed. Before becoming a father, I should have been awake. It should have been a wake-up call for me. But addiction isn't rational. She saw the truth eventually, and this wasn't just casual drinking, right? This was a dependency. Eventually, she ended things, and after some time, I found myself on a plane, going back home, returning to the one familiar thing that I had left: alcohol. Every loss, every heartbreak, every failure became another reason to drink. At 30 something, I enrolled in a computer course. Then I discovered that there was a program that you could take, that if you passed it, you could get a registration for a degree course. So I left the current course, went to do the other course with the hopes of getting the possibility of registering for a degree course. So I did that, and I passed the test, and I got offered for a degree position. So first year, showed up, first semester. We had a winter break, or winter semester. So first year, first semester exams, passed them all bar one, which meant that I had to resit it in the summer. So that was fine. Summer came, semester two, passed all my exams, just had to resit my first semester exam, passed that, and then I went to my second year. So that got me thinking, well, John, you're doing great here. You've never had a structured, study time in your earlier years. It's not because I never had the ability, it's just because of context, setting, environment. So I never passed my high school exams. I never went on to do, third education. Well, I did do part of third education, but never finished it. So I've never really been familiar with, getting the head down and, applying myself. But anyway, it took me to the age of 31 to adapt and apply myself and figure it out. So my drinking declined on my second year at the college, and from every other week to once a month, then even less. By the time I reached my final year, I stopped drinking entirely. I graduated, degree in hand, and applied for a teaching job in China. a new chapter was beginning. So it's a gradual process, you know. So now in China, when I came here at the beginning 6 years ago, for the first 2 years I only drank at the staff nights, and but even that lost its appeal. Working with kids, I couldn't be the hungover, sluggish version of myself anymore. On May 31, 2021, I had my last drink. Now at 41, sobriety is a quiet and powerful victory. The beats still play, but sometimes I do miss the old trio: music, cigarettes, and booze. Still, I know what's at stake. I guess teaching keeps me accountable. I won't go back. For now, that is. Because I finally broke free. Guys, listen, you never know what happens in the future. It's just a little story that I'm sharing. Maybe it'll resonate with some people. Thanks for listening, guys. If you liked the video, be sure to give a comment or a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.